I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a short practice to unwind at the end of the day. So this is ideal for if you've got a little bit of energy, maybe you've had a busy day and you just want to transition into your evening and into a little bit of relaxation. And this is the way that I would personally like to practice in the evening. If you had to use a label, then you would call this gentle yoga. Okay, so you don't need any props for this practice. I'm not going to be using any. Might be handy just to have a cushion nearby for you to sit on if you find that more comfortable. And this is suitable for everybody. So we're going to begin today in toes pose. So come onto your knees and tuck the toes under and spread them nice and wide. So we're really targeting everywhere that might be a little bit tight after a day of work, whatever it is you've been doing. So toes pose can be a little bit challenging. So if you need to bring the fingertips down to the ground, then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, stack the shoulders above the hips and just take a few breaths here. So we're going to be releasing all the energy from the tips of our toes all the way up to the crown of our head in this practice. So just bringing our attention here to the breath, noticing what's going on in the body right now. Just bring your attention to any areas of tension or any other sensation that might be there. And just acknowledge that. We're just going to be here for a few more breaths, knowing that it's okay to come out of this pose anytime you need to. Seeing if we can relax the shoulders, relax the muscles in the face. Last 2 breaths. And then when you're ready, leaning forwards, coming down to hands and knees and releasing those toes. Maybe just tap the tops of the toes on the floor. We hold so much tension in our feet, so especially if you've been on your feet a lot today, you might be feeling that one. So from here, just take the feet back. We'll take 1 foot back at a time, pressing the heel back, stretching out through the calf. And we're not going to be holding our poses very long today. So bring that knee back down and then switch sides. But as we move through our practice, we'll start to slow down and hold our poses towards the end of practice for a little bit longer. And then bring the knees back together. And take some cat-cows from here. So spread the fingers nice and wide and lift the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as you inhale to cow. And then exhale, draw the belly button in, press the ground away, look back to the thighs, into cat. And just moving with your own breath here. So inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. And again, because we're trying to encourage moving this energy that might be buzzing around our bodies, just finding any of the little movements here. So maybe moving the hips side to side or bending the elbows one at a time. Just releasing anywhere that might be a little bit stuck for you today. And just taking a couple more of these. And then coming back to the centre. And then from here, we're just going to take one leg out to the side. So take your right leg out to the side. And we're going to carry on with our cat-cow pose here. So the movement in the spine won't be anywhere near as big. But just notice that sensation all through the hips, which could be quite intense. And the toes can face straight ahead like mine are, or maybe it feel more comfortable just turning them slightly out to the side. Again, moving with the breath. And then on your next time through centre, just pause in there. And we're going to come up to a gate pose. So I'm going to turn to face you, but you're going to stack your shoulders above your hips, keeping that leg extended out to the side. Good. So with the shoulders above the hips, just draw the low belly in slightly and pause here. So if the balance is a little bit off here, find a focal point, your drishti, something that you can gaze on, and keep your gaze nice and steady as we inhale the arms up. And then just exhale, slide that hand down the straight leg. Inhale back up. And exhale down. So taking a few of these. And then the option here to carry on just with this motion or just to stay in stillness in our gate pose, or we can swing this left arm around and my toes are tucked at the back. So I'm going to reach for my heel with my left hand and then reach my right arm up and over. So this isn't a deep back bend. You want to keep lifting the chest up and then reverse that motion, come back and then side bend into gate pose. So again, if you're with me, we're going to sweep that left arm back, keep pressing the hips forward, squeezing the glutes, lifting the chest, maybe reach through that right arm. So there should be no pressure, no pain in the low back here, but just getting some nice movement through the spine. Again, letting that energy just move. And then last time into our side bend. And then coming back through center. And then bring the fingertips down to the ground, bring the knees towards each other, big toes to touch, and find your child's pose here. So hips come to heels, and then walk the hands forwards. And just resting the forehead down. And just take a moment here just to notice anything that might have shifted just in these first few minutes of our practice together. So noticing the breath, noticing the heartbeat, the thoughts, emotions, anything else. And just 2 more breaths here. And then coming back up to our tabletop position, and we'll take those few poses on the other side. So taking the left leg out this time, and then finding some cat-cow movements here. So again, you'll feel this mostly through the hip. There won't be a lot of movement through the spine. And just moving steadily, and maybe even just moving those hips slightly side to side, loosening up that hip joint. And just 1 more each. And then when you come back to center, walking the hands in a little bit and coming on up to your gate pose. Again, I'll turn to face you. So stretching that left leg out, toes can face straight ahead or slightly out at the angle if that feels better in the hip. And then draw the low belly in, stacking the shoulders above the hips. Just take a moment here, find your balance, find your focus. And then inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, slide that left arm down the left leg. So keep all this space here. Make sure we're not collapsing in or rolling forward. So we want to really open up the chest here. And then inhaling back to center. And then we'll do that one again. So taking the side bend first. And then maybe bringing this right arm down all the way around and finding the heel. But keep pressing those hips forward. So we're squeezing the glutes. Maybe reaching the left arm up. And you can see, keep the chin tucked here, or if it feels okay, letting the neck just relax a little bit, but be really careful with the neck. Inhaling into our side bend, exhaling, flowing with your own breath here. Inhale again as we expand, and exhale each time we switch through these movements. So feel this energy move you. I wasn't counting on the other side, but it feels like we've done almost the same amount on each side. But we're just really moving organically today, so there's no need to count. And then making this your last one. Inhaling all the way up. And then release the fingertips back down to the ground. And this time we're going to come to a seat. So if you're more comfortable sitting on a block, then go ahead and do that. And that will just give you a little bit of space to lift out of the waist to be able to lengthen the low back. And then bring the legs into any comfortable cross-legged position. So they can be ankles stacked on top of the other, or you can cross at the shins. And we're going to find here some Sufi grinds. So Sufi grinds are from Kundalini yoga, and they really, you'll feel it really builds up the heat in the stomach area and helps to move that energy up from the base of the spine. So start by sitting up nice and tall, taking a big breath in. And we're going to shift over to the right and then come forward. So we're making a big circle with our belly button, and come over to the left. And then come back, squeezing the belly button in, rounding through the spine, and then keep going. So start nice and slow. And this might be easier if you're not sitting on a block here, but I'm going to stay on mine for today. So we're just making this big circular motion, as if we're moving the belly button around a point. So really good for the spine, for the digestive organs. And then maybe you start to speed up a little bit, but only if that feels good. So really thinking about lifting the chest forwards and then squeezing back. And then next time you get to the center, pause in here, and then starting slowly, come around in the other direction. And just relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, even though the hands are on the knees here for a little bit of support. See if we can switch off and relax any muscles that we don't need. Reaching forwards, squeezing back. And then next time you come to the center, pause in here, bring the shoulders back above the hips, and just notice, maybe close the eyes. What's going on for you today? And then if the eyes are closed, just blinking them open. We're just going to switch the cross of the legs. And then from here, we're just going to take kind of a baby camel pose, so a little mini back bend. So bring the fingertips behind you so the fingers are facing straight ahead. And then broaden through the collarbones and then just lift through the front of the chest. So lifting the sternum all the way up towards the sky. And the chin is kind of jutting forwards and up. So we don't want to just let the head hang back here. So keeping a little bit of strength through the neck, but really focusing all that attention on the space between the shoulder blades. Seeing if we can press that forwards as the heart space comes up towards the sky. Big breaths here. You might find the breathing is a little bit more into the chest, and that's fine. And just 2 more breaths here. And as you exhale, draw the chin in first, and then lower the chest back down. And then from here, just walk the fingertips forwards, taking a little fold, and then taking them off to the right hand side, pressing the left hip back so we've got that nice strong diagonal line. And then changing over to the other side, pressing the right hip back, reaching through the right fingertips. And coming back to center one more time. And then walking the fingertips back in. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to come into our shoelace pose. We're going to start to slow things down a little bit. So for shoelace pose, I'm coming off my block just so it feels a bit more comfortable for me to do that. So bring your left ankle in towards your right hip. so it's underneath the right leg. And then sitting nice and tall, so you might need to just lift the hips up and let the pelvis rock forward slightly. You're going to bring your right leg over the top of your left. And then wiggle that foot over to wherever is comfortable, aiming to get the knees somewhere on top of each other. And then pausing in our shoelace pose. There should be no pain in the knees here, so if there is, an alternative is just to sit in that cross-legged position that we were in before. So from here, we're going to interlace the fingers. We're going to do a little bit of work through the wrists and the hands, and just make some circles. So again, if you've been working at a desk or doing anything with your hands today, maybe using your phone, and hopefully this feels good. And then turning the hands inside out so the palms face away from you. We're just going to very gently press the palms away. So keep reaching tall through the crown of the head, so nothing changes in the body. Maybe feeling a little bit of sensation into those outer hips now. And if it feels good, start to take the arms up. Just make sure you're not jutting the low ribs out here. And then maybe all the way up overhead, reaching tall. And then release those fingers and just shake them out. Nice. So from here, we're going to release our legs. So lean back and just take your top leg out to the side. Leave the left leg where it is. So the left foot is going to come into the inner thigh. And again, picking up the hips so that we can tilt the pelvis forwards. And then sit nice and tall here. Just pause a moment. Notice all those sensations. Maybe a little bit of heat in that right out the thigh as we come out of our shoelace pose. And then lift tall through the crown of the head as you start to turn your torso towards that straight leg. And you can stay here, or if you want a little bit more of a stretch, walking the fingertips forwards. We're not going to be here very long. So we are slowing down towards our more restorative poses at the end of our practice that we'll be holding for about 5 minutes. But it's so important to transition slowly. We go from being very busy to being busy again somewhere else, and then before we know it, we're getting into bed. And we find it really hard to sleep sometimes because we haven't had this time to transition, to slow down. So then walking the hands back up. And then take your left leg out wide. And find your straddle here. So let the toes roll back away from you. So we don't want the toes rolling in here. So you can open out through the thighs and then just sit nice and tall. Again, you can sit on your block here if that's more comfortable. And just pause in here, gazing down. Maybe you want to fold forwards a little bit here. I'm just here for 3 or 4 more breaths. Feel free to close the eyes. And then when you're ready, walking the hands back in, lifting the torso back upright. And we're going to take all of that on the other side. So just help the legs in, bring the hands behind the knees, and then bring your right foot in towards your left hip. And then our left leg comes all the way over the top. And finding our shoelace pose on the other side. So again, wiggling into it, finding that place that feels comfortable for you. Remembering you can always take our simple cross-legged pose instead here, but with the other shin in front. And then just pause in here a moment. And then this time with our arms, we're going to have the option of taking our eagle arms or a little self hug, which is my favourite. So take the arms out wide, Really reach through the fingertips and feel that stretch straight away through the triceps, into the armpits, maybe into the chest. And then take a breath in. And as you exhale, just cross the right arm underneath the left. We're going to do both sides here. So giving yourself a little hug. Lowering the chin down towards the chest just a little bit. Again, maybe closing the eyes. And this position is really calming for the nervous system. So if you ever need a little reset, then give yourself a hug and let me know how it goes. So if you want to, from here, you can bring the back of the arms together and find your eagle arms, maybe even bringing the palms together. And then releasing that, take the arms out wide one more time. And then we're going to take that on the other side. So this time the left arm comes under, and then give yourself a little hug. And then again, either stay in here or finding our eagle arm. So our left arm is under the right, and we're wrapping, either just bringing the back of the arms together or bringing the hands towards each other. And just lifting tall through the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders. And then releasing the arms, noticing any sensations there. As we slowly bring this top leg, your left leg, all the way out to the side. And bring the right foot into the inner thigh. So sitting nice and tall here, feeling the sits bones on the ground. It's fine for this knee to be slightly bent. And then if you want a little bit more, reaching tall again on the inhale and then turning the torso towards that straight leg. Keep drawing the toes back towards you here and then walking the fingertips down the leg, just as much as feels comfortable for you. And last few breaths here. Maybe feeling a good stretch through the low back here, this QL muscle that can get very tight if we're sitting down a lot in the day. And then walking the fingertips back up. And then this time bring the soles of the feet together into our butterfly pose, our Baddha Konasana. And just holding onto the ankles, sitting nice and tall here. And maybe start to fold forwards. Again, you can sit up on a block here, a cushion, a blanket, whatever you've got handy. So you don't need expensive yoga props. Just whatever you've got around the house will work just fine. Relaxing all the muscles in the face and the jaw. And just taking a few more breaths here. Feeling the body start to relax, start to slow down. And then inhaling as you bring the torso back upright. And then go ahead and take the legs out in front of you. And we're going to find a forward fold here. So the legs don't have to be close together, they can be just slightly apart. But again, just sit up and let that pelvis rock forwards. So sitting on a block here can be really useful. And then reach tall through the crown of the head. Again, keep the knees bent to keep that stretch even through the back of the legs and the spine as we start to fold forwards. So if we feel the hamstrings or the back of the legs really, really tight here, then that's a sign that we really need to bend the knees. We're looking for a nice even stretch through the whole back side of the body. And then maybe here, to make it even more relaxing, restorative towards the end of our practice, you can get yourself a cushion or a block and just place that on the floor in between your feet or legs and rest your forehead down here. I'm just going to be here for 10 breaths. Feel the shoulders relaxing, melting away from the ears. And jaws relaxed. And know that you don't need to do anything right now. And just coming into our last few breaths here. Take a big breath in and fill all the way up. Feel the belly expand and be soft. And then gently part the lips and sigh it out. And then slowly walk the hands back towards the hips, removing the block or the cushion if there was one underneath your head there. And we're going to slowly make our way down onto our backs. So for your Shavasana pose, you have a choice here. Maybe you want to take the legs up the wall pose, or if you want a little bit more open into the inner thigh, bring the soles of the feet together, find our reclined butterfly pose. Or coming into your traditional Shavasana, taking any movements that you feel you need to make before settling into stillness. So adjusting any clothing, your hair, just doing whatever you can to be a little bit more comfortable. And give yourself permission to relax. Without forcing relaxation to happen. Just allow it to be there. And if the mind is still busy, maybe taking a gentle scan of the body from the crown of the head all the way to the tips of the toes. And as you pass over each body part, just giving it permission to relax and let go. And just taking our final moments here in silence. without changing anything. Visualize yourself here, lying on the ground, completely relaxed and at ease. Maybe say silently to yourself, I am deeply relaxed. I am deeply relaxed. And then gently starting to increase the breath. Breathe in a little bit more deeply. Noticing as you inhale, our energy is spreading to every cell of the body. And using the breath to find some little movements in the fingers and in the toes. And keep deepening the breath until you feel ready to bend one knee at a time and roll onto the side. Just pause in here a moment. And just thanking yourself for looking after your body, your mind. Helping you transition into whatever is coming next. And slowly make your way up to a seat. And stacking the shoulders above the hips. Taking a big breath in here together. And exhaling out of the mouth. Well, thank you for practicing me. I hope you feel relaxed after your busy day. And please remember to let me know what you thought of this practice and like and subscribe. Namaste.